Getting back from a long trip, I just wanted to rest. I really did. But just as I walk into the door, guess who pulls in the driveway? Yep, there's the nephew. Rolling in really fast. I swear to God, he must have been waiting. I really didn't do much except wave to him as I walked in the door, dropping my bags next to it, and just seriously wanted to get some rest. But sure enough, here he comes, running right up towards me. Hi, how you doing? Trying to give me a hug, dude. Just knock it off. What? What's wrong? I thought you enjoyed your trip to Europe. No, well, yes, no, sort of. It's messed up. I was over there tinkering around. It was just crazy. He constantly kept asking, What? What'd you do? What'd you deal with? What was it this time? He was so agitated. Ugh. It just annoyed the hell out of me. Finally, I walked down towards the office and said, Come on, follow me. As we went down the stairs, I asked him how his trip went. Oh, it was boring. I mean, the the mountain's just like a giant tree. We walked up it and looked around, and some of our electronics went a little crazy, but nothing you didn't tell me not to expect. So yeah, it's that was it. Nothing else. So you and your girlfriend didn't, you know, use the ambiance? Oh yeah. Oh yeah. And it wasn't a fun trip. What the hell is wrong with you, kid? He looked at me sideways on that one. And as I reached the office, I finally reached in, pulled out my keys, punched in the code, unlocked the door, went inside, and he was right behind me as I came in. It's like, dude, stop standing right behind me. You freak me out. You know that, right? What? It's called PTSD nowadays. Don't stand directly behind me. Why not? I reached over, pulled my knife out of my pocket, and said, See this? It almost ended up in your throat. Don't stand behind me. He finally got it. After a few more seconds of silence, he simply said, So what did you mess with over there? I told you I was tinkering around, I told him. No, with what? Oh, yeah, sit down, I'll show you. With that, I reached up and I looked down all the different file cabinets. I found the one drawer I hated opening, but you know what? It's what I gotta do. Pulling the drawer open, it slid all the way to the end with that sickening metal slam. As I looked through each of the files, I started flipping through more and more and more, back and forth and back and forth. He looked at me strange, like though I didn't know what I was grabbing. Finally, I reached the index. I needed this one file. This was kind of an end-all be-all because I'm not pulling out the entire file cabinet just to show him what the hell. I grabbed the very large file and dropped it in front of him. He read the front. Tinker. What the hell? He asked. Just open the frickin' file, will you? He opened it slowly and looked at it. He goes, Oh, these are fairies. Well, what type of fairy? Huh? I flipped it over and he saw there was a list. Looking over this list, his eyes got really wide. He couldn't understand what the hell he was looking at. And then he looked at some of the pictures. Oh, they're fairies, right? Fays, I told him. What's the difference? Fairies are very particular. And besides, they're also, how do I put this? Thank you, you self-righteous morons that make your movies down in Florida for screwing things up for us. They may be, really small, quick, and sometimes, depending on which type, can be very, very pretty to look at. But no, they're not all sunshine and rainbows, trust me. He looked confused when he said, What do you mean? Reaching over to that very large file in front of him, I flipped over to the next page. He said, This is what you're expecting, right? This little, pretty little thing here, this is a pixie. Okay, this is what they try to say all the Fays are. Trust me, they're not. This is one type. This is one clan. That's it. And these pixies, honestly, don't piss them off. You won't see them coming, but believe me, if they want to hurt you, they're going to hurt you. Well, how will they hurt you? They're so small. You ever heard of the square cube law? The what? Oh, jeez. Square cubed, which means the smaller something gets, the lighter it gets, which means the larger you can carry something. When these suckers want to carry a sword, they can whip a sword like we whip a knife, and their swords, usually they're designed to look like almost like a mix between a rapier and a claymore. Believe me, this thing gives a two-handed broadsword a run for its money in comparison to its size, and they move it around like it's nothing. Well, why would they use that? Everyone's got to protect themselves, duh. He rolled his eyes, flipped over, and saw a picture he wasn't expecting. Are these? No. Leprechauns are real? Yeah, they're a real pain in the ass, though. They're, well, how do I put this? They always renege on their deal. What, really? Oh, yeah, even demons hate these guys. I mean, they hate them bad. Demons, I mean, hell, the devil herself will even back up the deal, even if it's not in her favor. If she needs something that bad, she'll still follow it through. These leprechauns? Nah. Whenever you say, I want your bag of gold or a pot of gold or wherever in the hell they shove that gold, I'm sure they can. Every time I deal with it, I tell them they can shove it where the sun don't shine. But then again, you got to be careful about that. They might just try to do that to you. Be very, very careful when dealing with them. Dangerous things. Dangerous little things. But are they magic or something? They're partially ethereal, so yeah, I guess you could say so. That's horrifying. Yeah, but they're also pretty easy to deal with. They're pretty small, pretty light, and they think, oh, their magic's going to do anything. Or all that sort of craziness. I don't know how else to explain it. I've unfortunately seen a few guys simply say they would never, ever, ever deal with leprechauns ever again. If they see one, they'll kill it. Really? Yeah, but they're not fun to deal with. They always promise things, they never back it up. As soon as they get what they want, they're gone. And they're fast. Holy shit, are they fast? I mean, they don't fly like a pixie, but man, they move. That's. Oi. He simply started moving through. He looked at the brownies. He saw banshees, and he was actually amazed at that. I thought these were demons. Different type of banshee. We actually have different words, or how I said that wrong. We have different beings with the same type of word. But when you talk about these banshees, they're, well, how do I put this? They're not as dangerous as the other ones. A full size banshee that's the size of me, oh, they are freakish. Whew. Maybe I'll tell you about them one day. But yeah, they're the banshees that are big like us are a subsect of succubi. What, succubi are real? Have you even heard anything I've said? Have you seen the amount of files I've got? Oh, oh, shit. Yeah. Now it's one piece at a time. Here, I reached over and flipped the next one. These are sprites. I mean, not too bad to deal with. And, just like these will-o'-wisps, which are pretty much the same thing. But these are different types, all different types. And you got to be careful. Don't call them by the wrong one, they get pissed off. And if you do, and they tell you, hey, I'm a dryad, not a nymph or something like that, then you apologize immediately. And you should be fine. Dryads, aren't they like really, really, supposedly really, really, really sexy? Oh, yes, they are. I don't know what the hell they put in the air, but man, your blood temperature goes up, and believe me, your heart is just pumping like crazy, and it's pumping blood where you sometimes don't want it to go. Same thing with nymphs. I mean, you got to be careful about that. Well, what about these ones here? He says as he flips another one. Oh, yeah, things like kelpies, naiads. Yeah, you got to be careful with those. A lot of waterborne phrase are, how do I put this? They're dangerous to deal with. Sometimes not so much. I mean, you got the osray, but they're very shy. A lot of times you'll see them and then they'll kind of like just go away once you notice them. They're very shy. They're so delicate. You've held one? Oh, yeah, sure. As I say as I'm holding my hand up, remembering when one was just sitting on my hand. We had a very interesting conversation. Really? Yeah, he was a bit of a schmuck, though. What do you mean? Oh, he was starting to get more and more arrogant. I'm like, you're standing on my hand and I could squish you right now. Maybe you might not want to, keep from talking shit. He didn't understand how I would be talking fecal matter, but hey, things are lost in translation all the damn time. Thankfully, his mom came over and told him, hey, get back here, so it was interesting. My nephew kind of looked at me weird. I said, yeah, he was a total mama's boy. Sounds familiar, doesn't he? As I glared at him. Ah, shut up. What about these ones here? Mermaids? Mermaids or fays? Sort of. They could be classified as their own, or they could be something else. It's yeah. You gotta, you gotta be. How do I put this? Fae is a general term, really. It's like saying vehicle, but I could put a Prius as a vehicle, but I could also put an Abrams tank. I could also put a Jeep. I could also put a chariot as a vehicle. Do they all really belong in the same category? No, but they're all vehicles. Ah, he said, as he started flipping through. He noticed things like the elves, the dwarves, changelings scared the crap out of him. I said, yeah, they like goofing around, but the thing is, changelings a lot of times, well, when they get to a certain age, they can get as big as you and as big as me, and they like to how do I put this? They're horny. They get to a certain age and they just want to screw everything. Really? Oh yeah, it's kind of messed up because they don't care man, woman, adult or child. Yeah, there's been a few I've had to smack the crap out of a few times because they got to be careful. Ah. He continued going through and he saw one. How do you pronounce this? Oh, Tawatha Dedanan? Yeah, they're Irish. They're strictly Irish. Really? Yeah, but those ones in particular, if you're up in the Highlands, don't be a manic depressant. What, really? Yeah, remember when they said you got to think happy thoughts around any of these folks? Well, this is the reason why. Since they're partially ethereal, uh, depression kind of zaps their energy, and a lot of them it hurts if you're around. It hurts so much that they'll actually attack you. And remember what I said about those big swords? Yeah. Yeah, they go through your eyes because they can't go through your skull. They just don't have the mass to do so. They can't really go through your ears either. I mean, it's there's just too much there. But the eyes are squishy enough that they'll ram this like 6-inch freaking blade right through your eyeballs. Both of them at the same time. It's a very horrific way to die because they don't fully lobotomize you either, and they not enough to go deep enough into your brain where you die instantly. No, you actually are on the ground screaming as your brain tries to rewire itself desperately, and you bleed out. Not fast, but not slow either. It's it's really bad. It's not something you want to see. But they get you to stop thinking about sad shit, so as far as they're concerned, they win. Huh. That's that's messed up. Yep. So what about this guy here? Oh, Puck. Yeah, yeah, I met him. He's kind of relaxed ever since back in the day. He's one of the oldest actually. He's gotten really really wise too. Don't ever if you ever meet him, don't try to pull a fast one. Ever. Just talk to him straight. Why is that? Oh, he'll see through it. He'll spin it, and next thing you know, you're trying your best to kiss his feet and begging for forgiveness. You don't get in a verbal argument with him. It's just you don't do it. Huh? That's huh. He continued to flip through. He saw the red caps, the Bogarts, things like that. He got to the slot and he was like, "What the hell is this?" I looked over to see what he was looking at, and he saw the giant red stamp that said "case closed," which is code for us. I said, "Yeah, they don't. That clan doesn't exist anymore." What, really? Why do you have them on file? You never know with ethereal beings if they're just gonna pop back up or something like that. So you definitely got to keep something on file just in case. Why do you think all the governments around the world keep everything on file? Why do you think the Vatican has all those files? They're not just trying to hide technology from everybody, which, well, that's the main purpose. But there's also the fact that they're trying to make sure that if something comes up that they thought was already dead, they know how to deal with it. Huh. That's wow. He continued to actually go for, and he saw one that was a menehune. Is that how you pronounce it? I don't know. All I know is it's Hawaiian. We wanted to look over to see what was going on with that, but turns out they're, how do I put this? They're kind of like dwarves or gnomes. They like to build stuff, but they're also very, very, very territorial. You mess up anything they built, and they're coming after you. And they're coming after you with both wings, both hands, and both blades. Don't piss them off. Why are they all so dangerous? Would you want some giant just walking in and crushing a city you live in? Good point. He kept moving on through each of them, and there wasn't too many left. Then he finally got to one that shocked the crap out of him. Jinns are real? His eyes were very large. Yeah, they mostly started in Middle Eastern areas, but you got to be very, very careful. They actually live off the wishes, and the more grandiose the wish, the more they can live without granting another one. I mean, seriously, we've had several wish for complete and total financial control for what I think they said 1,000 years, which is almost up, by the way, thankfully. But because of that grandiose wish, one of these jinns is the most powerful out there. I don't exactly know how that works. I just know it does. What jinn? Why does that sound familiar? Oh, yeah, it's because they're genies. Jinns are genies. Yeah, you didn't know that. How the what the no? Let me answer your question. I told him. Here's what's going on. The jinn, the genie, as we understand it, is a English or American amalgamation of the word. Why? Because the word jinn or the jinn did not actually go over well in American ears. So they thought, oh, what's more friendly? Genie sounds friendly. It sounds very close to a name we have, Gene. Uh, it, Geez, these cartoon loving morons who are now more interested in making crap is just they screwed everything up. But because of all that, people don't actually look at these things with fear anymore, which is good because they don't like they do like the power they get off of the fear. But it's really short lived. It's like a dopamine hit. It burns off really, really quick. Then I looked over and I saw something in his eyes. Don't even think about it, I told him. What? I know what you're thinking right now. Everybody thinks the same fucking thing, myself included. Okay, I was warned about this and I'm warning you. It falls under the whole thing. Be careful what you wish for. He said, what? I'd be careful. Yeah, bullshit. You're a teenager. Nothing you do is careful. He looked at me sideways. I was a teenager too before. Don't forget that. I did some really, really amazingly stupid shit. But I did that before the internet. And now we have all this information. Not only do you have these paper files, but you can look up so much information now to make sure you don't do the wrong thing. Huh. Okay, well, didn't you ask for something? Oh no, I pissed that gin off something fierce. Ooh boy, that was fun. Well, okay, you gotta tell me. You gotta tell me now, he told me as he slowly closed the file in front of him, focusing primarily on me. Well, the easiest way to do it is to act like a lawyer. Huh? Yeah, act like a lawyer. All you have to do is say, okay, I'm gonna put my wish down on paper, and I spent the next like 5 minutes writing. And I made sure that everything was written out with appendixes and all this other crap. Now, I'm not a lawyer and I don't play one on TV, but the fact of the matter is, I asked the Jinn, can you read this? And when he said no, I was like, yeah, bullshit, because I know you can read all languages. It's part of who and what you are. Then he insisted that I say it verbally. As I started reading it, it was so dry, it was kind of putting him to sleep. But also, every single thing that could possibly make it so that this wish came back to, kick me in the nuts, bite me in the ass, punch me in the face, and kind of snap my spine sideways, I made sure he couldn't do. Oh, he was angry and then refused the wish. I didn't even know they could do that. And even though he would have gotten one hell of a power boost from it, he refused to do it because he couldn't screw me over. Remember, these guys, not all of them are nice. Some of them, they'll just give you the wish and say, to hell with it, you're human, you're going to be over there. Others, they just want to screw you up. I swear they've got the devil on speed dial in that case. I looked over and my nephew's eyes were just focused. I just said, dude, blink, okay? You're starting to freak me out. Okay, take a breath and just remember, you come across one of these, you just have to be extremely careful what you wish for. Because it's something simple if you say, I'd like a cup of coffee. Yeah, they might give you a cup of coffee with arsenic in it, or full of, I don't know, transmission fluid or something like that. You might say, I want the ability to heal from any wounds. Well, you might just heal yourself right into a lab. Then you're going to be tied down to a table while they take organs out of you, one right after another, every single day. You heal up, they take your liver. You heal up, they take your liver. No anesthetic, by the way. That sounds horrible. Yeah, it is. Don't don't play with that. Well, what did you wish for? Oh, well, I was going to be a regenerator myself and be able to pass said regeneration off to whoever I choose. That doesn't sound too bad. Why didn't he do it? Oh, he wanted to make it so if I regenerated somebody, they would, how do I put this? They would prematurely age, so that they would have to constantly come back to me every single day and eventually every single hour and eventually wouldn't be able to leave me alone. They would have to be attached to me 24/7 to make sure they didn't age off a cliff in minutes. That's that's messed up. Yep, that's what they do. Well, what about the three wishes thing? Oh, yeah. Well, that's what happens when a djinn pisses its own off. What? How does that work? Well, remember what I said they work off wishes? Well, it turns out that three wishes need to be fully granted for them to actually leave their confinement. Can they be summoned from their confinement? Sure, but without granting the wishes, they're back and they could grant two of the wishes within a timeline and then end up back inside confinement. And then when somebody, well, rubs the lamp, well, you're not actually rubbing it, you're actually reading the side, but you have to have both hands on it. There's a whole mess of things to do. Then, well, as soon as they come out and they try to grant the three wishes, if you only do two, there you go. You're good to go. And he goes back, he or she, actually, there are females, and they go back to confinement. And then if another person does the same thing and only wishes two things before, they go back into confinement, this process repeats over and over and over again. And it drains them. It drains them so bad. No, they can still do the wishes. Don't worry about that. But how do I put this? It'd be like us running a marathon, like a full on 20-mile marathon, and then not getting any type of food or water afterwards. And then somebody says, okay, you're going to go run another one. You've been able to catch your breath, but you're going to have to run another one. Eventually, they look like shit. With a mischievous look, my nephew said, well, where could I find one of these and just do my two wishes? Yeah, do you have any idea how rare that is? It's exceedingly rare. It's hard enough to find these folks. I mean, seriously, I just went over and all I had to do was be a mouthpiece because I've dealt with these tinkers before. Why do you call them tinkers? Look, here. I flipped over to the front of the file. Did you not read the file? What are you here for? You read the damn file. Oh, okay. Yeah, sorry. Sorry, don't cut it. Okay? You need to pay attention. Don't just focus on the good stuff. If you can't see the entire picture, believe me, you start dealing with these guys and you can be in a world of hurt really, really, really fast. I mean, seriously, it's bad. It can be bad or it can be great. Oh, okay. Well, which type did you just have to deal with? Oh, I said, I I dealt with the elves. Elves? Elves? He starts flipping through trying to find the page, and when he does, he looks at one of the most beautiful things he's ever seen. Elves are real? Yeah, but they're mainly ethereal. You can't see them because they travel on the winds. They are the winds. It's kind of, how do I put this? They stick to their own species and they only like to talk every once in a while to make sure things are okay and that their own area is not going to get messed up. I just had to go and reassure them and kind of meet with somebody. Who would that be? My nephew asked. I had to meet with the royal family. They had what? Yeah, one of their many daughters is kind of sweet on me, and the I always show them respect and everything and stuff like that. And pulled their I pulled them out of the fire once, and yeah, they trust me and a few others, and that's it. What that's amazing. Yeah, but you know what politics does to me? What? It drains the hell out of me, and I'm tired. Okay? I expected to be many levels of asleep. I've been awake for probably 80 or 90 hours right now. I'm fucking tired, so please put the file away so I can go to sleep. I just need a shower and some shut eye. With that, he took the file, put it back, and then I had to put it back in the right position. I said, pay attention. Then ushered him out, closed the office door. As he left, I finally took a breath. Oh, finally. Finally, I could get some. What the hell was that? Oh, no, no, no. Don't tell me an emissary followed me back. I am so damn tired. Turning around, I actually saw one of the clans. As I looked close, I could see it was one of the sylphs. I opened the door, introduced myself, and asked, "What can I help you with?" To my surprise, they simply said, "We have simply come to thank you." In my stupor, I honestly almost screamed out, "You could have done this back in Europe, you know that, right?" But I didn't say that. I didn't want to piss him off. I simply stated, "You're very welcome. I'd offer you something, but right now I'm just exhausted." They looked at me, and in that very, very high voice, they said, "Understood. Thank you again for your time." "You're welcome, my dear." "My dear?" I'm sorry, you're shining so bright right now, I can't see who's what." With that, they dialed back the amount of light they're coming out, and it was what looked like a teenage boy. Only about the size of my fingers, but still there. "Ah, my apologies, young man. Didn't mean to offend." He simply looked at me, kind of gave me a weird look as though he was upset but understood that there was a little confusion, realizing that I couldn't see through the bright light that was coming off. A little upset, he kept his wits about him and simply stated, "Well, I have delivered my message. Thank you for your time." "And a good day to you, sir," I said. And off he went. And when they want to move, wow, they move fast. I mean, seriously, a hummingbird would sit there, watch him go by, and go, "What the hell was that?" Although at this point, I really, really didn't care. I went and got a quick drink of water, just a little something to wet my mouth, get a little bit of hydration in me. And I headed towards that bed and went, "Oh, I feel like I can sleep for a week. Oh, I hope nobody bothers me for a while." And before passing out, I thought to myself, I wonder which file I'm going to show my nephew next time. Oh, wait. I know. Hello, everybody. This is Syntax. Thank you so much for joining me on today's episode. Before I go, I gotta send a giant thank you to one of my supporters, and that would be Brian Kemp. Thank you so much for supporting the channel. Everybody else, I will see you on the next one. This is Syntax, ejecting.